Well, there are thousands and thousands of French troops right now in the West African nation of Mali, and hundreds of British troops. What are they doing there, and why are there hundreds of thousands of Malian refugees fleeing the country? Joining me now is Alice Ukoko from Women of Africa. Welcome back, Alice. Dangerous times yet again. Whenever you're on, there are.
Yes.
Such a refugee crisis, no reporting suddenly. Why are there British and French troops in Mali?
Well, if you look into the history of Africa, you will find that the world has always kind of fought to take the front role in capturing the peace of the action in Africa. And obviously this Malian invasion, as I would like to put it, is not different. When you look, you can look at Mali, you can see that the interests of the French and the British, of course, America is again kind of hovering around.
In there somewhere.
They're all there. You see, the interest is not in the issue of protecting humanity and Africans. They're not interested in Africans. Otherwise, we will not, with the strength of military vision and presence in Mali at this time, the people will feel protected enough to stay within their country.
One could make the argument the British Prime Minister, David Cameron, did actually say it was a defensive act for this country, in that protecting Britain from Salafist terrorism.
Well, I don't know. I think Britain and America, going back to the time of Iraq, we've known that they've always conjured some kind of convincing story to make the British people and the citizens of the world believe that what they're actually going to do is to make the world a peaceful place to be.
All the politicians agree with it.
They agree with it, but because they want to go there, and it doesn't really matter how they take it. Look at Libya. When NATO was going into Libya, one was, I don't agree that Gaddafi should have spent the rest of his life sitting there, then hand over to his children. No, we don't agree. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, I believe that the Africans themselves should be able to decide what kind of future they want for their continent. But again, they pushed and they said they are going there because the dictator, as Barack Obama put it, said he was going to kill his people. He said he was going to kill his people. So now NATO came in to do the killing.
This is quite tragic, really. David Cameron, though, would say, African Union and EU leaders said, how can you let Africa do it? Because it's African Union apathy that is allowing the killing of so many people by these Islamists.
Well, the point is, if you look at the African Union, which again was created under the auspices of Gaddafi in the first place, which is the former...
Isn't it a pointless organization?
Well, but the point is, if you look, the African Union is made up of heads of African governments. And if you look at the weakness of the heads of the African government, which is something that has been created by the West, because Africa has never been allowed to have strong government. And I would say that if you have any government that is not able to defend the integrity of its own area, is not worthy of being a government. You're not supposed to be in government if you know that you cannot protect. And that is a kind of weakness that is being reflected in the AU. Africa cannot continue to have external interruption because of the richness of our land. Our people are being driven left, right, and center. And I can tell you that even in Mali, as we speak, a lot of crime is being committed by the soldiers that are there. We've seen it. We've seen Iraq.
So you're saying that the people of Timbuktu and Gao should have been continued to be terrorized by Salafists?
Well, the point is, if you look, when we talk about terror has become a language that is being used by the West to go in and do whatever they want to do. The interest, and the French president said it. He said they go to places to protect their French interests. They don't go there to protect other people. And then when you talk about the terror, they say the jihadists were the one that were there. Did you see them? Because we know that there is always, look at Mali, look at Syria, look at what is going on, what actually happened in Libya. How do you define who is jihadist in this and who is not? On the one hand, they will tell you these ones will support them because Gaddafi said he was going to kill them. So they went in and supported the opposition. I don't have any problem with that. My concern at the time was, how do we know who we are supporting? Because you are spreading arms through the continent, and you are spreading it in a continent where civil society is not empowered. So how do we come out of this? That is the point. We go back to the AU. AU has been completely something else. We become like spectators in our own affairs. That is what we become, because we do not have...
Should we dissolve the AU?
I think what should happen is that we should have a parallel civil society organization like the African Women Commission that the Women of Africa is working on, so that we have a parallel body that kind of dilute, if you like, and equalize a very weak government. If you look at terrorism, if you like, what we call the terrorists, these are just people that are struggling to change a system. You can, for Mali produces is the third largest gold producer in the whole of Africa, and yet the people are also amongst the poorest in the world. Now, when in a situation where you have wealth on the one hand and then poverty on the other hand, you are bound to have people struggling to free themselves.
Then Navi Pillai, catastrophic spiral of violence. Mali,
yes,
obviously not going to plan in some ways, depending on the goals.
It's not.
The Pope. Since you're from Nigeria, we have to ask that question. Everyone talking about Arinze, Francis Arinze, famous for the anti-condom advisor being that for John Paul II, so killed a lot of Africans, arguably, when the Pope's John Paul II was advocating that kind of contraception. What's your view about a black African Pope?
Well, it would be wonderful to have a black African Pope. And if you actually ask Arinze himself, the Cardinal himself, he would tell you that he will not, even if his favorite to win, if he wasn't so old, but at the same time, he will tell you that becoming Pope will not be becoming Pope for Africans alone, because the Papal, Roman Catholic Papal, the system is for all Roman Catholics, billion. Yes. So really, it would be good for us. It would be good for our morale, especially when you think that Nigeria won, after 19 years, won the African Cup of Nations, and everyone is happy. Then you can imagine that if we have a Nigerian Pope, I mean, we will be rejoicing. That's yes.
Okay, we're running out of time. Obviously, you're bidding for a job at the Vatican as soon as Arinze becomes the new Pope. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I hope to see you on the program quite soon.
Thank you.